You resolved to pack and go. Conrad's friend owned the house he was staying at. He had repeatedly offered to sell it to him, the same house where the two of you had previously stayed whilst travelling along the west coast of Ireland. The wild Atlantic way had once possessed a mythic level of romance for you. Now it stood in your mind as a violent judge. It waited to welcome you to the dock, and you had only a small glimmer of hope of resolution. Your mother, fast deteriorating, kept Matthew this side of the ocean, and Freddie was willing to help where possible. You told Matthew that if anything should happen, he should call, and you would instantly fly home. Arabella wanted to come with you. 2 weeks had felt like 2 years, despite her nightly video calls with Conrad. Although firm with her, you felt as though you might bend or break, and asked her not to tell her father about your plans. You had already packed your bag. It sat waiting in your bedroom for you to make a decision for as long as Matthew had been with you. This was it. You were to fly to Ireland and to face the aftermath. You were to fly to Ireland and face the aftermath of your confession. Your stomach churned. You had not actually confessed with certainty. Your stomach flipped. You heard the doctor say, "You probably understand her more than me." Your mind rifles with resentfulness. Your mind rifles with resentfulness and searches for the possible insights that a mother of 6, a divorced mother of 6, could garner from your work on the intersection between myth, fairy tale, and the role of women in classical and contemporary culture. Even that thought curdled inside you, somewhat embarrassed you. You'd seen the doctor in light, his facade thin and his underbelly, his core fiercely revealed. Sorry for your loss. He was human, no doubt about it, but for the first time since you were a teenager, you doubted whether human was worth being, and misanthropic contrariness enveloped you. You wanted nothing to do with humans, but this obviously nihilistic numbness broke as your cat jumped up to sit on your lap. "Lucy, Matthew will be here." "Fine." The cat purred, and your lap quickly became warm. It vibrated with resonance even while she prepared her fleshy fabric pillow with her paws. The triangle around your crotch throbbed with tenderness. It responded to the warmth of her patting with a gentle hello. Your back tingled and your spine became erect. You blinked and adored the loving cat with your tired eyes. "That's my professional opinion." "Your professional opinion, is it, Doc?" You imagined, you quipped back. You gripped your waist, and Albert, sweating onto you, came as his fish face panted, his gills searching for a sensation in an alien situation. You saw Conrad. In a way, it is your baby. Was your baby, Conrad. It was you that made me come, the idea of you. It was never him. Mingus played to keep you motivated. It drew you in, enticed you towards Conrad. Your foot began to tap. The cat slunk further into your lap, as though swirling down a plug hole. Its purring reverberated into your bones. A flash of light and lemons fell in the wind. At the lookout, the ocean waves carry the sound of ringing bells directly to your eardrums. You stand both as observer and observed, eating and watching you eat the ashes of your unborn child. Conrad sat under the fig tree, pouring your father's ashes over his head, dirt running down his face. The motorway sped past. The taxi driver switched to jazz. The city blurred and merged as the speed of the big band rhythm. Conrad waltzes forwards towards you, then back away from you once more, back and forth like a choreographed, rickety old film piece. There he is, gone again, back again. It was your baby, just as our baby was your baby. This is something that we can share. It belongs to us. It is our grief. Lemons fall. The car merged onto the motorway. Signs with aeroplanes began appearing. The songs seemed to rifle through the speakers as though entering from another realm. The cars on the opposite side of the motorway appeared to hover, fly, and shoot past. The colours merged, and you saw a giant deer in the middle of the road, invisible or empty, a vision from a dream, its belly swollen, the taxi driver's face in the interior mirror, first a fish, then a bearded travelling man, and finally Conrad's eyes pierced back. Check-in was swift. But the airport is septic, and the lighting made you nauseous. The gate opened, and the lady soon took your ticket. You did not look her in the eye, but nodded as she guided you to the walkway. The big band still performed in your head, and many thousands of couples danced in deserted streets across the entirety of your mind. Landscapes switched and jived, shimmied from desert to down, glade to plain. The grey-green patchworks of land, the blue of the rivers, streams and lakes, how high it all looks. The person next to you panted and sweated profusely. You inched as close to the window as you could. Ladies and gentlemen, but you did not listen. Your mind was orchestrating your grand entrance. The land mass disappeared from sight and the clouds throbbed like condensed milk. Your breath reached your head and made you dizzy. White spots in your eyes as though you'd lost your temper. The lady in front turned her head with both her eyes and mouth wide open. You brought your hand to your mouth. Had a sound come out without you knowing, or had you kneed her chair? She shook her head and made a fuss of getting comfortable. You turned your head to look out of the window just as the clouds broke and revealed another plane not far away, passing in the other direction. You saw it as though it dropped 3 feet in the air, although it never did. You almost cried, instead letting out a tremolo that took your mind to all the worst places. Conrad leaving you. Arabella choosing Conrad, your mother dead by the morning. The lady in front made a show of noticing your sound. When she turned to glare at you, you simply stared back. The seatbelt signs flashed on and a short time of turbulence commenced. We're ahead of schedule and delighted to say we'll shortly be arriving into Connemara Airport. Descend in around 15 minutes' time. You'll be pleased to know it is 2 degrees and a local time of midday. Cabin crew for landing, please. 2 feet on the ground. 2 heavy feet through the airport terminals. The hire car woman chewed gum and twirled her hair in her finger. She did not ask questions nor play the social game of niceties. A relief. She passed you speedily to a large woman with strange bruise between her eyes, which you thought some might see some significance in. She inspected the car and handed you the keys. Enjoy. Thanks. Hebe decided to park alongside the coast. She remembered the walk to the house easily from there. There was a handful of shops nearby, one an old bookshop that she and Conrad had visited at least 5 times whilst here. The air was crisp, and although cold, she felt a bite of promise in the air. She laughed aloud when she heard Conrad repeat his favourite quote, "It's like trying to bite your own teeth." She mistook a lamppost for a man, as her mind was so engrossed in the echo. She made a wide berth and apologised for almost knocking into him before realising that the object was inanimate and large. From then on, something made her step perfectly on each paving stone without ever coming into contact with a single crack. She avoided the 3 drain plates and stepped into the road instead of continuing under scaffolding. Every other house had some type of decoration, fairy lights or baby Jesus at the manger. It felt like it might snow. For a moment she danced along the road, twinkle toes, light and airy. She placed one foot in front of the other, a tightrope, as the wind gushed through her hair. And then she stopped, still and stood. Silence surrounded her, shrouded her, and a large pointing finger singled her out. She must tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. She gagged and heard the big band playing. Hebe rang the bell and waited. She felt Conrad on the other side of the door. She rang the bell once more, and a 3rd time. After a while, she called out his name. Conrad?